Alright, people who have been waiting for Nissan D21 videos, behind me is a Nissan D21. KA24E single overhead cam, fuel injected, and today we are doing the fuel injectors. You will know that from the title of the video, those of you who are astute. I'm going to show you the fuel injectors now, and then we're going to jump right into it with pro tips along the way. Okay friends, for this particular engine, again the KA24E, these are the fuel injectors that are recommended. These are Hitachi's. The part number is right there, and then I will throw a picture of it in just a sec, and then I will throw it down in the description below. But here is what the injector looks like. Nice and clean, and it is a two-prong injector, standard. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and get that fuel rail pulled up, and we're going to pull out the old injectors, and we're going to swap these ones in. And you will want a jar, not plastic, for future use. Stick around. Okay, back at the engine real quick. The only thing that we've done so far is take off the intake. This bar right here is your fuel line, and then those red pieces right there are your injectors. They have a clip on top of them that has a small metal band that goes around it. All you need to do is pry up the ends of the band, and then the clips will just pull right off. When you put it on there, it's just a press. You can hear it click over the top of those prongs, but when you're removing it, that metal band is right at the end of my finger. I don't know if you can see it. There's a clip on either side. You're just going to pry it around those two little prongs, and then your injectors will just come unplugged. So we're going to go ahead and unplug everything, and then we are going to get the fuel rail unbolted and out of the way. Okay, forgive that we're working with multiple lighting sources here. You can see that there is the fuel injector with the two prongs, like I said, and then there is the metal pinch clip inside of there on either side. When you press it on, it will just click into place, and you just slide it forward to remove it. First pro tip is when you're taking these off, it doesn't matter if you have a longer cord or a shorter cord or whatever, mark them from the front of the engine to the back so that you know where they go. Obviously I have this marked 1. This does not necessarily correlate with cylinder 1 in the firing order of the engine. I'm just counting them as 1, 2, 3, 4 as far as the front to back goes. So whatever system works for you, just make sure that you do not mess up which cylinder which plug goes to. That's pro tip 1. Okay friends, so all that we've done is we have moved the throttle cable from where it stays on top of the fuel rail just to out of the way, and then we have moved this line also out of the way just on top of its bracket. That is held onto that bracket with a 10 millimeter. This is held onto its clip with a 14, and the fuel rail is held onto its spot with two 12 millimeter bolts. So have a wrench set. As you can see, we have dancing fuel injectors, which means that all we need to do right now before we take the fuel injectors out is to release the gas pressure on the fuel rail, and then hopefully we won't create too much of a mess. I'm going to jam some rags down in there so that way when we take this off, hopefully we're not spewing gas all over the vehicle. So I will check in with you guys in just a sec. Making as little of a mess as we can, you can see that we pulled the fuel rail with the injectors up and out of their spots, and notably down in each of those holes there is a rubber gasket. On our specific engine, all of the fuel injectors, every single one of them, left their gasket down in the port. So what we're going to do now is remove these injectors. There are 2 more gaskets that we want, and I'll show you some fuel is going to come out of that line now. But anyways, you can see that that upper gasket is what we want, and there's 2. There's this O-ring, and then there's the upper gasket, and I want both of those. So anyways, this is what the fuel injector looks like when you take it out. That line is done draining. It just had a little bit left in there, and then we are going to we're going to go and do an old-timey pro tip for these gaskets. So I will check in with you guys in just a sec. So as they sit, here's what we got. We got our old injectors. Of course, there's a nice new shiny injector, and these were the gaskets that we took off. This is the upper gasket. The lower gaskets are still in the engine, and then we have these O-rings. I've inspected all of these. None of them are broken or warped or flat spotted in any way. So what we're going to do is put all of them into our glass jar, just like your little brother does with his My Little Pony. And then we are going to pour a little bit of gasoline in there and let the gasoline soak into all of the gaskets. And what that's going to do is it's going to make it, one, easier to get these back into the fuel rail when they have to go, and two, it will make it so that they don't bind and we don't get any leaks. So I was told at one point you need to pour the gas over all of them and let it sit for 5 minutes. Who knows if that's how long it actually needs to be done, but that's how long we're going to do it today because we are not in a rush. So anyways, I'll catch up with you guys in just a sec. Okay folks, we got all of our injectors prepped with our soaked gaskets and O-rings. We're going to put a little bit of gas around the bottom there where it's going to slide in to the O-rings that are still in the engine, and then we're going to get the fuel rail hooked back up. We're going to start it up. We're going to go for a drive. So we'll catch you guys in the engine side. Okay, fuel rail is just lightly pressed in place. You want them seated to where you can't even see that lower gasket. We did take a gasoline-soaked screwdriver and just lightly coat the inside of each of the gaskets before we slid the fuel injectors in there. And now we are going to put back those two 12mm bolts that hold the fuel rail down. And then we're going to finish buttoning everything back up, getting everything plugged in, and we will go from there. I'll check in with you guys in a sec. Okay friends, forgive me for the noise, but you can hear now that everything is on and we have a nice smooth idle. It's warming up. It was obviously very cold. There's a bunch of snow on the ground. It's probably 38 degrees right now, so letting everything warm back up. But I just wanted to show you we have no leaks and everything is nice and tight. And we're gonna let it warm back up. We're gonna check the idle because we took the throttle cable off, and then we're gonna take it for a little drive. So we did have a little bit of an issue. You can see we have the jumper on here. We had a little bit of an issue just getting fuel back into the fuel rail, so we had to prime it and unprime it a bunch of times, but we are running good now, and we will take it on the road in just a bit and show you how she sounds. All right, there she is. You can hear that it's still just a little bit choppy if I bring you in here by the exhaust. And that may just be because of the positioning of the distributor. We have not checked the distributor since we got this truck, but we're gonna do timing on it this summer. Despite how it looks outside, it is actually April, so we're not too far off from doing a timing kit. But for the time being, yeah, that was a nice little DIY speed run of fuel injectors on the KA24E single overhead cam 1993 Nissan D21 pickup. Hard body, too many names. Anyways, this will be the same for the WD21 Pathfinders of the same generation. So for anybody wondering, that's how you do it. Thanks, and we'll catch you in the next one.